Welcome to God's Food for Thought. This week we're going to be talking about improving in our life with the Lord. You know, nothing, not one thing stays the same. The essence of time itself is change. We are all changing every day as we grow older. In that change, we're either growing stronger or we're growing weaker. And we're going to be talking about that applied to us spiritually and mentally. Can't do too much about the physical, but we can definitely get stronger spiritually, mentally, in our walk with the Lord. You know, habits are things that we do over and over and over again. And that's one thing that seems to stay around is our habits. Especially the bad ones seem to want to hang around. And we live in a world of bad habits. We're in a world that's turned from God, and a lot of people are in the habit of just not doing what God says to do. Habits are much more easily replaced rather than just trying to be given up. In other words, replace a bad habit with something that is good, something else. Habits really will show truly where our heart is, because habits are things that we do all the time. Every day, we are either growing weaker or growing stronger in our habits. And God wants to help us to change. He wants us to change from the bad to join Him in what is good, in the godly ways of doing things. Today we're going to look at character. Character is basically how we treat other people, how we treat God. A person of bad character doesn't treat people very well. A person of strong character treats people well, with honor, with respect. Maybe we should stop and think, is our character stronger this year than it was last year? Or have we gotten weaker in our character? You know, a character really is our makeup that includes our thoughts that lead to actions. Acquiring healthy habits, we're going to be talking about this week. And one main ingredient of a person's character is how true to their word they are. When they say they're going to do something, do they actually do it? If you say you're going to meet somebody at a certain time, are you there at that time? Or do you just get there whenever? You know, not keeping your word is instead holding on to a lie. And all lies come from the evil one. God always watches over His word so that He can perform it. And He wants us to be a person of our word. And there is our character. You know, if you don't have to sign a big contract, you give your word and that's final. You know, God has given us His word, and that is final. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 37, Jesus puts it this way, "But let your yes be yes, and your no, no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one." In other words, if you're going to shade it a little bit and make it a little bit not a full yes or a full no, it's going to end up in a lie. All lies began with the evil one. If you read that in the New Living Translation, Jesus says, "Just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one." Being true to your word is being true, and that is what puts you in that place of walking with God. If you're habitually not keeping your word, then you can change. And if you have thoughts that tell you that you can't do that, then remember, with God, all things are possible. Oh, I can't always be on time. Oh, I can't always do that. Well, let's put it this way. Just talk about practically speaking. You're supposed to meet somebody at 7 o'clock in the evening, and you show up at 7:20. And you do that time after time after time. Well, if somebody says, I will give you $1,000 if you're there by 7 o'clock, do you think you would do it? Yeah, for $1,000. How about doing it for the sake of your character? You see, we can reason our ways out of not doing what is good. God says to come and let Him help you. Walk in truth. And it just starts doing it one thing at a time. You have to begin something before you can ever get in the process of it. Lies are like leaven. They have a way of spreading into all areas of our lives. Once you start lying about something, you're going to start seeing those lies spreading into all parts of your life, and there goes your character. A person of good character tells the truth. Let's look at Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37, as it is explained in the Message, which is a paraphrase of the Bible. Jesus says, "And don't say anything you don't mean. This counsel is embedded deep in our traditions. You only make things worse when you lay down a smokescreen of pious talk saying, 'I'll pray for you,' and never doing it, or saying, 'God be with you,' and not really meaning it. You don't make your words true by embellishing them with religious lace. In making your speech sound more religious, it becomes less true. Just say yes or no. When you manipulate words to get your own way, you go wrong." Pretty good illustration of what Jesus is talking about. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. In other words, be a person of character. You know, another thing, a lot of times, if we are not faithful and we don't have that character, we don't expect God to be faithful. We think, well, yeah, maybe He means that or maybe He's not, because we're so used to dealing in the thought of not having character. Jesus said, just let your yes be yes and your no be no. Be as truthful as you can. If you end up late, it's certainly not because you planned that. And next time you will be even earlier to make up for it. It's just a habit of doing things. Another thing, you know, if you tell somebody you're going to meet them at a certain time, you dishonor them if you don't meet them at that time. And God wants us to honor Him and honor other people. It honors that person. Well, how much more important is it when you make honorable promises to God? You say, okay, God, I'm going to start praying at this time. Or, God, I'm going to stop doing that. And you don't do it. Or, God, I will start doing this. And you don't do it. You say, well, I just can't get into the habit of it. Well, a habit begins when you begin one time. And every time you do it more and more and more, you become stronger in your character, stronger in that good habit of doing things. Habitually following up on your word time after time establishes character. Then good character becomes healthy habits that replace the unhealthy ones. You see, if you start replacing the bad things with good things, that's what makes the difference. If you just get rid of a bad habit and you leave that place empty, you're going to be open for more bad habits to come in. You have to replace them with good habits. And that's what God wants to do. God always keeps his word. Let's join in with him, keeping our word with him. Let's keep our word as we keep his word in our hearts. God will never stop encouraging us to do so. He's the one that's working all things together for good, and it starts with working it within our own heart. Be a person of good character, starting one thing at a time, replacing the bad character traits with the good ones. There's a song that we have sung for many years, and it talks about God not giving up on us. It says, you won't relent until you've had it all. My heart is yours. Let that be your heart for God today. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you.
You won't relent until you have it all. My heart is yours. You won't relent until you have it all. My heart is yours. I'll set you as a seal.